Hey everyone, Mystical Mark here. So this will be your weekly astrology forecast for the week of November 17th to the 23rd of 2024. Before we jump into the chart for this week, of course, if you would like a reading with me, you can head on over to my Etsy shop. That's mysticalmarkastro.etsy.com. Link is in the description if you're on YouTube, or in my bio if you're on TikTok. If you're wanting to support me on my Ko-Fi, you can head on over there. Link is in the description and bio on TikTok as well. Memberships start as early as $1 a month, get early access previews. There's also a higher tier membership where we do weekly live streams. You can come on and ask me questions. I have it set up in a Discord server where if we want to, we can actually talk one-on-one, go over charts, go over whatever you want. Of course, any kind of chart reading has to be consensual with the party whose chart it belongs to, all right? And yeah, there is a Discord server, like I mentioned. And if you do the Ko-Fi memberships, you do get a special role in Discord. So you get access to membership-only channels. Sorry, brain's a bit slow today. Membership-only channels, and I will frequent those more often as they are for the paid members. Of course, the Discord server is free, though, if you did want to just join, come, hang out, whatever. And of course, the easiest way to support me is always just like, comment, subscribe, hit that follow button if you're on TikTok. It is always much appreciated and helps the algorithm to do its algorithm thing. All right, with all that being said, let's go to the chart here for the charts, I guess you could say, for this week. All right, so we're going to start off here on Sunday, November 17th. So on this day, we're going to have the Sun in biquintile to Chiron, as well we're going to have Mars in semi-square to Jupiter. Okay, so with the Sun here, 26 degrees of Scorpio, there's this biquintile here to Chiron retrograde in Aries. I feel like this is very transformative healing energy, but one thing that was coming through was like Mars energy. Remember, Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio, Pluto is the modern ruler, and Mars, of course, rules Aries. So there's a strong healing here, or a wounding, or a transformation, or something we need to face like in this way, especially since Chiron is retrograde. There's something here strongly regarding the wound to self, wound to identity. I'm hearing like wound to assertiveness, masculine, action taking, that kind of stuff. There's this Mars, feels like a strong Mars energy surrounding this. Of course, as we can see, Mars is here in Leo. Mars is actually in shadow because Mars will go retrograde. Let's actually pull that up, take a look here. Don't remember the exact date. Sorry guys, I'm like, yeah, December 6th. I knew it was fairly soon, so December 6th, and of course that will be in the middle of Mercury retrograde as well, because Mercury is also in shadow, about to go retrograde too. So, and that happens, I believe, November 25th. So, with this the biquintile, this is behind the scenes creative energy, right? So this could be something that's behind the scenes that's becoming more aware now, especially since we're dealing with the intensity of the Sun in Scorpio, that Scorpio energy, not just the Sun, but just the Scorpio energy in general. But with the Sun ruling Leo, and then this Mars energy dealing with the Scorpionic stuff, and then with Chiron here, it's almost like maybe there is a bit of a mutual reception here, but also adding on to this energy of this Chiron in Aries as well. So again, there's this strong Mars, Leo, masculine type of energy. Like I said, maybe that aspect of assertiveness, but there's some kind of transformation or something needs to be faced coming through here. And of course, with this biquintile, that's like that behind the scenes, creative, feminine type energy could feel faded. This could be triggering in a sense as well. But again, this is just something that's coming through maybe into our awareness, like either we're working on this behind the scenes, or this is behind the scenes stuff that is coming through. Ultimately, this could be, I was going to say triggering, but it could be ultimately for healing, but it could be triggering as well. But with Chiron retrograde, these are old wounds that we're taking a look at here, and obviously facing what we need to face. This could be, again, stuff that's maybe introspective, or stuff that's worked on behind the scenes, but it's being illuminated, brought to the light here with that Mars in Leo that can also deal with aspects of self-expression as well. Chiron is in Aries too. This could be the wounds to the self or identity or sovereignty. And with Mars in Leo, that idea of expression, taking action towards that expression that's like that passionate expression of self in that sense as well, and really facing that and pushing that maybe forward in some way there. But I feel like there's a transformation and healing, something that needs to be faced regarding that. Also on this day, we're going to have Mars here in semi-square to Jupiter in Gemini. So again, there's like this expansion of like this awareness being drawn here to Mercury and Sagittarius, with like basically this mutual perception between these two energies. Sorry guys, I have to take a drink here for a minute. I don't know what's going on. My voice and my mouth, it's like really dry. I don't know what's happening to me. I'm gonna have some ASMR while I'm drinking, as the mic is right here. There we go. Are we better now? Maybe I sound better now. I don't know why. I just felt like so dry. I mean, it is wintertime, so maybe it's just the air and stuff. Well, not like wintertime. It's technically fall, I guess, but where I am, it's basically winter, except we don't have any snow yet, and it's still like above freezing most days. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but anyway, back to Mars semi-square Jupiter. So there could be like what I was just getting there was this like expression, especially with this Mars in Leo, and we're dealing with this Jupiter, which kind of inflates or expand what it touches, and with this Gemini, obviously expression, communication. Of course, Leo energy is that like expression of self. But with Jupiter here in Gemini, of course, that can be communicative or bringing that into awareness. And I think what I was getting at with this Mercury here in Sagittarius, especially now that Mercury is beginning to slow down, it's in its shadow period, going to go retrograde soon, right? Oh, pay attention to this. That maybe a lot of what is coming up, either being illuminated or regarding this expression, there's an expression and an awareness that maybe is really starting to be more and more noticed here in this way. And with that shadow period, with Mercury slowing down, is making sure to take that time to slow down, or almost like our minds are slowing down, or things are slowing down in a sense, for us to become more aware of maybe what is being expressed in that way. And maybe that has to deal with that biquintile there, that behind the scenes stuff coming through. Maybe that feminine energy is that intuitive stuff coming through regarding facing what we need to face to heal, to move forward, some type of wound or something in that sense. That assertiveness, healing that masculine energy maybe in some way, and expanding and bringing an awareness to this, right? There's a lot of kind of a masculine type of vibe happening here, right, on this day with this energy. Scorpio is the only feminine sign. However, Scorpio is a very strong and intense feminine sign, and remember, it's traditionally ruled by Mars, so there is a strength and intensity to this as well on this Sunday. So again, it's interesting. There's some kind of awareness here, maybe something that needs to be faced, transformed, healed in some way. It could be a bit triggering, maybe something we don't want to face but are needing to in some way. Regarding this energy here on Sunday. All right, let's move on to Monday here. So on Monday, we're going to have Mercury in exact opposition to Jupiter. So again, these planets are in each other's signs. Of course, I have the time set to later in the day here, so you're not seeing the exact degree of this opposition. However, this looks like it's just right after that happened. So with this opposition energy, again, I feel like this is a mutual reception between these two signs. Despite the fact that Jupiter is retrograde, however, Mercury is in shadow. I'm being drawn to the fact that Mercury is in shadow and about to go retrograde. So these energies are actually probably more aligned than what we might realize that they are. So again, this is going over these old spaces, bringing awareness to the things that maybe we haven't noticed or focused on before, right? Remember, this Jupiterian energy, this Sagittarian energy, this is very expansive, and we're dealing with Gemini and Mercury. It's expanding in these areas of the mind, communication. Mercury also rules Virgo, looking at details, detail-oriented things. It's expanding these areas, expanding awareness, different paths, different ideas. How are we going to solve this, fix this? What are we going to do? This, I'm aware of this now. Oh, I missed this before. It's like bringing things up. It's like, okay, there's an awareness here now. How are we going to deal with this, right? Being drawn here as well to this trine to Chiron with Mercury that is building as well. Okay, so there's an aspect here of this communication or awareness regarding these wounds of ourself, identity, assertiveness, like those kinds of things. I'm being drawn to this opposition with Libra here, North Node in Aries, South Node Libra, right? Where, pay attention to this, I suppose, that maybe we don't want to be put upon anymore. Maybe this wound to self, wound to our assertiveness, is due to the fact that we've been beat down so much, we've been made into such a fucking doormat, that we need to heal that part of ourselves in order to retain a balance. It's not always about the other person. It's not always about just being shoved down constantly and just giving in other people's bidding. This is about healing ourselves, taking assertiveness, healing ourselves in that we are here to be independent. You're not here to be a fucking doormat. You're here to be you in whatever way that is, right? And of course, understanding that about other people and allowing them to do the same. A lot of people talk in relationships about like compromise and things like that. But I think real, true, unconditional love within a relationship is allowing that person to be who they truly are, no matter what, right? Like, it's allowing them to be that and not saying, oh, you have to do this in order to make me happy. Like, no. If you love them and you want to be with them, that's not going to matter. Okay? You have to allow each of you to be your own individual self. I don't know why this is coming through right now. Maybe this is something someone needs to hear, or a vibe that is maybe coming through in this way as well, in terms of what these wounds of ourself and our identity are. Maybe it has been too absorbed in these other people. I'm being drawn again to the fact, South Node Libra, right? That's what we're still releasing. We're in this phase of like South Node Libra. We're kind of releasing that stuff. And this Chiron energy, because it's in Aries, even though it's not conjuncting this North Node, but because it's in Aries, it's healing that aspect of self and identity, maybe within this relationship realm. Of course, Venus is also now here in Capricorn, Venus ruling the South Node. And in Capricorn, I think I mentioned this last week, dealing with aspects of boundaries. Right, on this day as well, Venus is at 8 degrees, which is a Scorpio degree. So there's an aspect of maybe a transformation or looking at that, a more intense aspect of that as well coming through here. So that may be surrounding parts of this awareness too. We know with that trine to Chiron, Jupiter is still in sextile to Chiron. So with his opposition, that's kind of, there's still aspect in Chiron here in Aries, so that's highlighted as well in terms of our wounds, the triggering into that as well, and where we need to expand in terms of our awareness in those areas. I don't know what it is, but there's an expansion of awareness that is really coming through with this mutual reception and with the Jupiter and Mercury retrogrades. And it may be a strong intensity surrounding that as well. All right, we're also going to have Juno here making aspects to the node. So Juno here is going to be quincunx the North Node, and of course semi-sextile the South Node. Of course, Juno being in Scorpio, there's an intensity, a transformation surrounding this. Juno is, of course, partnerships, about partnership, contractual partnerships, relationships, those kinds of things. That can be business contracts, business partnerships, any kind of contractual partnership in that sense. There's an intensity, maybe a transformation or a deep dive, having a look at what is really in these contracts, partnerships, those kinds of things. In order to maybe transform and heal. There's something maybe that needs to be faced within that, I think, is what is coming through and what I'm getting with that, right? Which could ultimately lead to some kind of transformation. Okay, with its quincunx here, there's a frustration in our path and direction forward. So maybe there's an intensity in these partnerships, and for some reason there's a limiting aspect of it, right? Like I was talking about before, with all that Aries Libra stuff in terms of our relationships being put upon respecting our own independence instead of so much compromise and being a doormat. And I'm not saying compromise is bad, but I'm saying it's when it comes to the detriment of your own self. Is that really a good thing? Well, we have to think of that. Are the dynamics and that we've been taught or learned about relationships, is that really what they should be? Is the Disney movie fantasy, all these fantasy relationships and stuff, is that really what we want to be teaching our kids that life is truly like when we know that it's not? You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying that we can't have like a certain happy ever after, even if it's just for a little while, or happiness in relationships, but there's an aspect of respect in terms of individuality that needs to, occur in that sense as well. And I think there's maybe that's why this is coming through in terms of transforming those relationships somehow in that way. Maybe is what is coming through. But maybe an aspect of independence that needs to be known in some way. But there's a frustration here with this quincunx. There's an integration that needs to occur regarding this transformation. And the semi-sextile to the south node is likely, maybe there is a release. Again, I'm being drawn to this Venus in Capricorn that's ruling over the south node. Maybe an aspect of boundaries that maybe has to lead to some kind of transformation, or there's something that's brought to the surface with this Juno and Scorpio that's really looking at, hey, what we got to face this, what do we got to do here? Maybe there's an aspect of an opportunity here to maybe let go of these old tendencies to integrate, to be able to move forward. But it's frustrating because there's something that has to be faced and transformed, and something that maybe we need to let go of in order to do this. And that could be like, but it has to be integrated. It says there's something's got to give here in order for this to really work, because we want to move forward with the north node here in this individualized, like independent, not necessarily individualized, but independent direction. And when we're dealing with our partnerships, it's allowing that independence as well as still maintaining that partnership, if that partnership is something that's valid and still to be maintained, right? In that way. Okay, that seems to be what's coming through with that. So all right, then we're going to have this Mercury in sesqui-square here to Mars also. Okay. There could be some volatility. There could be some expression of, I don't know, hearing like maybe anger, or there's a self-expression. What I feel like I'm getting is a self-expression. And with Mercury here in Sagittarius, again, that expansion of that communication, of that awareness, of that expression, possibly even verbal expression, in terms of that self-expression in that way, that masculine desire, that passion to express and move forward. I wanted to say move forward, but just to move, that expression, take action on that awareness, to bring awareness. It's odd. There's an oddness to this, but remember, with a sesqui-square, something that can't be swept under the rug any longer. It's kind of pushing for resolution in some way. All right, and there's like a structural fault of engineering is what I heard in some definition of what a sesqui-square is. I believe it was a sesqui-square, or was that a Thor's hammer? But regardless, I'm hearing structural fault of engineering, and there's something that needs to be maybe like reworked regarding an aspect of expression or self-expression. And maybe that has to do with these partnerships where you're not able to be yourself in some way. I don't know why this seems to be coming through all of a sudden. Back at relationships. But there's this aspect of self that maybe really needs to come through here in this way. Maybe we're just fucking done with the bullshit, and maybe it does have to do a lot with now this Venus in Capricorn. That's like, that Capricorn's like the boss. It's like, no, I'm setting boundaries. I'm not fucking putting up with this shit anymore. This gets done, we're doing this now. And that could be part of, what all this energy really is. And but like I said, there's an aspect of self-expression and a certain awareness and expression coming through here regarding all of that. And there's something that can't be swept under the rug or shoved under the rug any longer. That needs to be brought into the awareness, that needs to be expressed here in some way. Wow. All right. I never know what I'm going to fucking get with these, because I barely look at the astrology before I go into this. I just kind of look like, oh, this is kind of happening this week, whatever, and then I just fucking roll with it. And so whatever's coming through is whatever's coming through. So I'm looking at this a lot of times. The first time is the same as anybody else. So, all right. We're also going to have the Sun trine Neptune on this day as well. Sun in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces. Again, I feel like this is kind of facing old hidden stuff, right? And maybe needing to bring that to the surface in some way, really is kind of the whole vibe I'm getting here. Neptune is retrograde. We're dealing with Pisces, we're dealing with what's hidden, we're dealing with all of that stuff. There could be divine help that's coming through maybe in some way. There could be an intensity to this, but I feel like it's kind of what's hidden. It's what's hidden, especially with his Sun in Scorpio, Neptune in Pisces with Neptune retrograde, going over those old things that were hidden. It's like what's hidden that needs to be really brought up and released and transformed in some way. That's kind of what I'm getting, the vibe that I'm getting from that. Okay, of course, this is going to be like psychic energy as well. This is very strong. Strong behind the scenes feminine energy, almost like a quintile or biquintile, but it's that intensity, that pressure, that you're really being able to see maybe what's hidden. I don't know, what's hidden is just something that seems to be really coming through with that. Okay, let's move on to the 19th here. Of course, here on the 19th, I think we're going to have a big day. All right, that's happened once already this year, and now this is happening again. Pluto entering Aquarius. Except this time, Pluto's not going to retrograde back into Capricorn again. So on this day, let's look at the time, 1:51 p.m., Tuesday, November 19th, that's Central Time. Pluto will enter Aquarius and stay in Aquarius until 2044, basically. I think there might be a bit of... Anyways. About 20 years, okay? Let's not get it... Well, let's see. We can actually look to see. Let's pull up Pluto. Let's see the exact time. Event Navigator. Zodiac sign transit. March 8th, 2043. Okay, but then there's probably a retrograde, because then it'll come back into Aquarius, and then we're fully going to get back into Pisces, January 19th, 2044. All right? Because the next time will be 2066 in Aries, okay? So, oh my God. So January 19th, 2044 is when Pluto will enter Pisces. So until that time, we got Pluto in Aquarius. So again, this is all the standard stuff. Pluto in Aquarius, it's awakening. It's technological advancement. We're already seeing this with AI and a lot of all this other stuff. Some people think it's BS, some people think it's whatever, but it's going to continue. It's just going to continue. We're going to continue with that kind of stuff. It's technological advancement, all of this stuff, awakenings, awareness. There could be disclosure. They could finally admit that they're fucking aliens, even though most of us already know that they're fucking aliens. All right? All this stuff really coming out, and then in this intensity to really shake things up and really advance and move forward, awakening. This is power to the people, that collective type energy really strongly coming through here. If you want to take a look on more of what I talked about regarding this, you can go back to the beginning of the year. Just look through my old videos. It's around the beginning of the year when I did do a video regarding Pluto entering into Aquarius. And that Pluto at the 29 degrees of Capricorn was that nail in the coffin of the old world, basically. Right? So we're finally here. We're finally here. It's done. Pluto will be in Aquarius, and it's going to stay there. Pluto in Capricorn is done. We will never see it again. This Christmas season, this holiday season, will be the first time in, what is it, like 16 years or so, that when we have the sun in Capricorn and all that stuff, that we're not going to have Pluto there. It'll be the first Christmas in 16 years without Pluto in Capricorn. It'll be the first, there will be a lot of firsts coming up in this year, in this coming year and such, where Pluto has not been in Capricorn anymore. We're starting these major shifts because we're going to have a lot of other outer planetary shifts happen in 2025, as well as the nodes are going to shift as well. So there's going to be a completely different energy, as we head into next year, right? And we also have Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, still in Taurus, retrograde here. So we're still kind of dealing with these old things regarding these shakeups, changes, things like that. But really the focus is going to be a lot on change. There's no more this centralized, top-down, controlling bullshit, all of that. That energy is done. It's done. We're into new territory now. And this, for a lot of, I think, open-minded, more humanitarian people, this energy is going to feel good. But for those that are manipulative, controlling, negative, wanting to hold on to the old ways in the old world and the old ways of doing things, this isn't going to go so well for them, because they're going to be stuck in an energy where they're going to feel lost. They're not going to know what to do, which is why I've said, and I'm being drawn to this now, this Uranus and Taurus, learning to see the value in change. Because if you don't understand that now, you're going to get fucked. You're just going to get fucked. Because the energies are going to be conducive to this change. Again, astrology is an energetic template conducive to certain things becoming manifest. And I'm going to tell you what, there's a lot, if you've wanted change in your life, you wanted to shake things up, we want to move things forward in a new direction, while awakening all of this stuff, well, we're heading there, we're getting there, right? That's what this energy is. So get comfortable with that. Understand the value in that. Understand the value in change. Because if we don't see it now, you're going to get fucked. Straight up. Because the energy is going to begin to be conducive to these things. It's no longer conducive to this old world bullshit of centralized control and all that crap. It's not going to be that anymore. We're in this place of change. All right? And I almost feel like that's coming from source. But it's from, I feel like, what I mean by that is I feel like these energies are being used in a lot of ways to manifest this aspect of change and to move us into a new and better place, a new and better direction. That comes from a very much higher perspective. However, this can just, in terms of our individual lives, this can relate to, how it affects us in our own individual charts, as well, how it's going to affect our own energy, those kinds of things, right? But I think this is the transit that a lot of people have been really waiting for it to be truly actually finalized. And we've already had a taste of this, and it's only, it's going to happen more. And it's going to get crazier. We saw a lot of the crazy stuff this year regarding Pluto and Aquarius, and it's only going to get intensified, right? Because Pluto rules Scorpio. It's that intensity. It's that transformative aspect. You're mixing this transformative energy with this change, with this shaking things up, all of that. We're in for one hell of a ride, right? I think I even said that in my first Pluto and Aquarius video. Buckle your seatbelts, because we're in for one hell of a ride. And we are. But it's for the best. Anyways, that's all I kind of really have to say about that. Mercury here will be in trine to Chiron in Aries as well on this day. So again, that's when we're feeling this exact trine. So there's an aspect here of this expansion of awareness and of healing, this aspect of this maybe individuality, our individuality, our sense of identity, those kinds of things. And with Pluto now coming into Aquarius, Pluto now coming into Aquarius, recognizing our uniqueness and individuality within our own selves, as well as in others. I was going to say kind of fitting in with others, but it's not about fitting in. I think what I meant by that was our uniqueness and individuality and that role that we play within the collective of others, and how our uniqueness is valuable, right? Remember, Uranus and Taurus here too. Value. That uniqueness is valuable. Being drawn back to stuff I talked about way back at the beginning of this year, almost surrounding this energy with this Taurus, Uranus and Taurus, and then Pluto and Aquarius. Uniqueness, individuality, understanding the value in that, the value of change, the value in progress. Another thing, Pluto and Aquarius, progress, and intense progress, swift progress moving forward. Like I said, understand and appreciate change now, because if you don't, you're not going to like the coming energy. Really, there is value to change, there is value to progress, because there's a lot of shit in this world right now that is not really conducive to the proper support of everyone in humanity, of people, of our world. There's a lot of governments and systems and all of these things that are not really truly supportive of humanity, of people. It just isn't. We're made to believe and think that they are, that you pay taxes and it's all good for these things, but do they really do what they're supposed to do? Are they really supportive of those things? No. I can guarantee you they're fucking not. There may be certain aspects or certain things that, yeah, it may help here and there, but that's just for show, to make it look like it's doing something, instead of actually taking appropriate action to progress and to be humanitarian and to move forward in these ways, right? And I'm being drawn again now to this Chiron and Aries, this sense of identity, self, and sovereignty in terms of bringing to our awareness of maybe what we need to make progress on and change in a lot of these ways and expand in those areas as well. Again, I'm feeling very expansive, very change type of energy now really coming through here and dealing with these wounds as well. And again, this can still relate back to these partnerships and relationship type of stuff that is occurring here, but there's progress and change as well. It's something strongly that's really starting to push through and come as well. So there's an awareness of these wounds here, and as I said, individuality, uniqueness, shaking things up, and maybe this transformation and this progress that needs to occur in that way to ultimately heal that and bring and expand to that awareness and communication and really bring this forward in this way as well. And this could be triggering too in a lot of ways, right? But ultimately, I feel like these energies and what this is conducive to things becoming manifest is ultimately for our highest good. Okay, let's look at Wednesday the 20th here. On Wednesday the 20th, we're going to have Venus here in Capricorn in sesqui-square to Uranus and Taurus. So with this sesqui-square, dealing with Uranus here, these aspects of changes that need to occur. And again, with Venus ruling the South Node, there could be boundaries, something that needs to be let go of, but maybe boundaries in place that needs to really push forward to these aspects of change. And I'm also hearing to to take control in a sense as well. To take control, to let go of where we've been put upon, where we've been, I was going to say like doormatized, but where we've been like doormats and all that shit. Venus is also square to Black Moon Lilith here, where we've been outcast in terms of our relationships, in terms of being a doormat, in terms of these areas, right? And really like being kind of taking a stand, letting go of that crap, setting appropriate boundaries, and then really pushing for this actual transformation and change. Feeling now like this cattle prod energy, like I've said with this Uranus and Taurus as well. It can be like the cattle prod energy. Excuse me. Pay attention to that to really get things fucking moving and and changing in the way that they need to. Because Uranus here is retrograde. This is shit that we've already know that needs to fucking change. That especially in Taurus, is too fucking stubborn to actually see that we have to fucking change, but we have to fucking change. This is setting the boundaries. This is setting that, being like, no, it's time to take control, time to take the reins, let's fucking do it, and fucking do it now. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Let's go. Right? This is the Capricornian boss. This is Venus in Capricorn here. She's the fucking boss now. She's the queen. She's like, yeah, no, fuck this shit. He's not doing what he's supposed to do. Behead him. Okay, maybe not like that, like intense or extreme, but that's kind of the idea that I'm going at here with this Venus in Capricorn. Like, she's the boss, she's the queen. Let's get this shit fucking done now, right? And the changes that need to occur and be made. And I'm feeling like there's a strong femininity to this, especially regarding aspects of change and progress that really need to occur to make these big shifts and changes that push almost away from that old world type energy. Because remember now, Pluto is back in Aquarius, and that's the sign that Uranus rules. So now there's kind of these big, this energy is emphasized even more now again, because Pluto is now in Uranus's sign. So there's an even more intensity to this, even now to this sesqui-square between Venus and Uranus, this push for this change and this taking control and this setting boundaries that says, no, we're doing this now. Okay? And this square as well, like this black moon Lilith, intensifying it even more, really. Or Venus is building in square to this, especially with black moon Lilith in Libra. There's no fucking with being outcast in terms of other people and codependency and stuff like that anymore. Okay, so that is Wednesday. Let's move on to Thursday here. So Thursday we're going to have the sun now moving into Sagittarius. Thank God. I love Scorpio. I actually really do love Scorpio, but sometimes the intensity, depending on what you're going through in your life and what's going on, it can feel extreme and intense, and it can be tough to deal with. However, Scorpio makes you face what you gotta face. I think it's harder when it's like you're willing to face that stuff, but other people aren't. And you're trying to make things change and transform and heal and do these things, and other people are just kind of like gaslighting you into believing otherwise. When you're like seeing things, you're seeing it for what it fucking is, and you're wanting to actually change this shit and go forward in these ways, but other people are too chicken shit to do so, basically. All right. Sorry, I kind of have like sore shoulder here in my arm. Gotta give myself a little massage while I do this. Okay, anyway, Sun in Sagittarius. So again, that's the expansive area. Everybody likes Sagittarius. It's the party sign, okay? Positivity, expansion, all that kind of stuff. So hopefully we're headed into more positive. I'm not feeling that that's necessarily what it's going to be, but there's an expansiveness. I feel like I'm being drawn to this Jupiter in Gemini. Of course, Jupiter rules Sagittarius, with Mercury here about to go retrograde, opposition Jupiter, the Sun now in Jupiter's sign. I think this is illuminating more of this awareness and the mutual reception that is really occurring here in this expansion in this area. I think is really what the Sun here is doing. Mars is in the Sun sign here of Leo. So again, there's this very strong, like masculine, expressive type energy, and there's this aspect of awareness and illuminating things, and maybe illuminating even multiple possibilities, multiple directions, multiple different kinds of things. This could be a bit more kind of a wild and crazy times, of course, seeing these hidden things, or seeing these things that maybe we had missed, especially due to this Mercury retrograde and the fact that we're in Mercury shadow right now, to pay attention to what's coming up, because it's probably going to come up again during the retrograde. All right, we're also going to have Mercury here in semi-square to Juno in Scorpio. So again, there could be this, with this semi-square regarding these, seeing what these relationships and these contracts really are, bringing an awareness to that in a lot of ways, or maybe it's almost like seeing it for what they are. Maybe going into it, you didn't necessarily realize it, but now you're having to face whatever this contract is, whatever this really truly is. There's an awareness. I almost wanted to say awakening for some reason. I mean, Mercury is still opposition to Jupiter, so maybe there is some kind of a mental awakening here regarding partnerships and just there's an intensity surrounding this, is what I feel, surrounding this type of energy and this push for maybe this awareness surrounding this and what needs to be transformed and changed, maybe, and really just dealt with this energy as well, in terms of this Scorpio focus on this is what you need to face right now in order to heal and transform within this partnership or contract, in whatever that is. You know, and maybe that's soul contracts, maybe that's business partnerships, business contracts, that could be marriages, any of that kind of stuff. roommate relationships, or who fucking, I was gonna say who fucking knows, but any of that kind of stuff, right? All right. And it looks like, I'm just having a look here, it looks like Mercury is going to be going retrograde, so it's going to, these energies are going to peak and hit again next week in terms of that semi-square. So there is an awareness, especially with this Mercury shadow and Mercury retrograde, there's something that needs to be expanded on in terms of our awareness, maybe even communication in some way, regarding the intensity of these contracts, or something that needs to be faced and transformed. Initially, what I felt was something to be transformed in terms of these partnerships, whatever that is. All right. We're also going to have here now the Sun in sextile to Pluto in Aquarius now again. All right, Sun in Sagittarius, Pluto in Aquarius. So there's this expansion. Sun and Jupiter sign sextile Pluto in Aquarius. Yeah, there's an expansion here to this. This is the first time that this will have happened, right? The first time that Pluto was in Aquarius and the Sun in Sagittarius in sextile. There's an expansion to this awakening, to this progress, to this pushing forward, to all of this stuff, right, that I've already talked about previously. Now it's being illuminated and expanded. We're in Jupiter's sign. There's an expansion here, an opportunity to expand here in a lot of these areas. And Pluto gives intensity. So we're dealing with this expansiveness of Jupiter, this intensity of Pluto. We're dealing with Aquarius and Sagittarius. This is like shake-ups in terms, or like, how do I say what I'm fucking getting here? It's like this different direction aspect of Sagittarius, and like these different ways, awareness, these different things, and like this uniqueness, and like this instantaneousness of Aquarius that's like meshing together. How do I say this? It's almost like awakening, awareness, like there's an it feels like it's in a positive, I feel it has a positive way, but there's like a positive like expansion of like this newness, multiple pathways, uniqueness, individuality. It's like these different things. It's like an expansion of, and now I'm being drawn to this basically Sun and this out of sign opposition to Uranus and Taurus. It's focusing on like these shifts, and there's this aspect of change, but it's like there's still that stubbornness of Taurus, but it's like we're really highlighting this need to move into this direction again, really this progress in these new directions, and spontaneous things, and the stuff that needs to occur, that has to change, that we need to see the value in doing. Like there's this push to this big push to this. I don't know, it feels like this is a new energy now that's coming through. And again, like I said, this sextile hasn't happened with Pluto in Aquarius in this way that we've experienced in our lifetimes. So this will kind of be the first time this is happening, and with this Sun in opposition to Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, and we're dealing with Pluto, Uranus, this Sagittarian, Jupiterian, expansive type energy. This is kind of like wild. It's like really pushing like for this shift in this way. I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like Uranian energy is like, it's like this unpredictable, but it's like anything can happen, and then be free, be happy, be your uniqueness, and this expansive energy. It's like, I feel it as an intense positivity, but I can't explain it. I can't fucking explain it, guys. Yeah. Anyway, let's just go to Friday. Let's go to Friday the 22nd. All right. This is when we're going to have this quarter moon in Virgo. So again, when we're dealing with Virgo and Sagittarius, this is the big picture versus the little things. While we're dealing with this expansive energy, and of course with this Mercury, Jupiter, like mutual reception and opposition going on here, with that very mercurial and expansive type of energy, with Mercury also ruling Virgo, I think again there's more of this expansiveness, this expansiveness of awareness that's really occurring here, and now it's detail-oriented stuff. I was feeling like the workers almost coming through in a sense, like worker, stress, day-to-day type energy surrounding this, and maybe an expansion or illumination that needs to occur in that. And with the Sun opposition Uranus here, maybe a bit large change that needs to occur, humanitarian type energy, sextile to Pluto and Aquarius, change, progress that needs to occur, maybe in this way. I'm being drawn to the fact now again that the South Node is going to be in Virgo, starting, I believe it's the beginning of next year. I don't know the dates on that exact, but the nodes are going to shift. And so there's going to be more emphasis on this Virgo and type energy, and how maybe that needs to be more of a focus to maybe let go of those negative Virgoan aspects and signs of that stress, of that worker type of stuff, of that kind of, I was almost hearing like blue collar type work, but like it's the jobs that no one really wants to do, but people think that, oh, they're needed, or, oh, technology is taking our jobs away, things like that. But really, if technology took some of those jobs away, that might actually be a good thing. And I'm being drawn to this Pluto and Aquarius type of progress, type of energy with the sextile to the Sun here, with its opposition to Uranus and Taurus, learning to see the value in change. AI isn't so bad if it takes over the McDonald's job that everybody fucking hates doing anyway. You know, customer service jobs that nobody wants to do because they just get treated like shit, mostly because corporate policies are just fucking bullshit. All these other kinds of things. Whereas now it's like dealing with the stress, this work, this day-to-day stuff, and it's like expanding on these details of things and progress and change and seeing the value in change, or making these big fucking changes that we need to fucking make in ways that they need to be made, and all of this. Oh my god. And all the little details, I'm almost hearing like it's the expansion of the details as well, in this sense too. And there might be an emotional aspect to this too, a subconscious, something that's maybe coming to the surface in this way, maybe more intuitive than emotional, regarding this this quarter moon. So there's something about this kind of stuff that's coming through here. Yeah, anyway, that quarter moon doesn't happen until basically almost 7:30 p.m. Central Time on Friday the 22nd here. So, sorry, quarter moon. Did I say like full moon or something? I don't remember what I said. It's a quarter moon, but it's still probably going to feel it. All right. Next up on this day, we're going to have Venus in sextile to Saturn. Venus and Saturn sign. With the sextile to Saturn here, I consider Saturn in Pisces the dissolution of this malefic energy. And I feel like with Venus here, she's the queen now, setting the appropriate boundaries. Oh, excuse me. Pay attention to that in terms of the dissolution of that malefic energy. Setting appropriate boundaries in order to dissolve that malefic energy. Right? Yeah, that's kind of what I really feel like coming through with that. Venus ruling over the South Node in Capricorn. It's like, yeah, so even though Saturn rules Capricorn, it's like I feel like there's a strong kind of feminine boss queen type energy coming through to be like, no, we setting boundaries now. We ain't doing this shit anymore. If you're not going to be fucking compassionate to me, Saturn in Pisces, restriction of compassion, you're not going to be compassionate to me, not going to be fucking loving to me, not going to understand, not going to do whatever, then fuck you. Not doing it anymore, boundary set. Goodbye. South Node Libra, goodbye. Done. Okay, so there's an opportunity here for this. Yeah, that's kind of what I really feel with that. And maybe that relates to maybe something surrounding what I said with that quarter moon. Change, humanitarian energy that needs to be made, big shifts that needs to change and be made. And that could be surrounding an aspect of feminine energy as well, as the feminine energy is the energy that has been suppressed for so long. And I'm not just talking biological women, I'm talking the feminine energy within all of us. Yes, we all have feminine energy. Okay, and yes, of course, you can have different gender identities, there's different physical genders, sexual orientations, all of that. However, everyone has both masculine and feminine energy that work best when they're in harmony and balance together inside both of us. So don't suppress that side of yourself. Embrace it to be in balance with your masculine and proper in that way. However, you can still be in a male body and express feminine. You could still be in a female body and express masculine, okay? I'm not negating any of that stuff. All right, also on this day, we're going to have Mars here in trine to the North Node and in sextile to the South Node. So in trine to the North Node here, again, there's this, we're wanting to take, I feel like wanting to take action in our self-expression to really move forward in our own self-identity. And the sextile to the South Node is letting go of those people that are not with that. They're not understanding this passion for our own self-expression. They're not this desire to heal here, this Chiron in Mars, the sign of Aries, to heal here, and with Mars in Leo to express, to heal our individuality and to take that passionate expression and move forward in this new direction and to release that which is no longer serving us any longer. And a passion, I was going to say, to just reveal, to express, and to just wanting to move forward in that sense and release like people that are no longer serving us, right? And Pluto here is now a moving opposition to that Mars. So there's uniqueness, individuality, shake-up, change surrounding that that is occurring there as well. In terms of our uniqueness and individuality too, with that Pluto in Aquarius, is what also that can relate to. And so letting go and setting boundaries to that which is no longer for us any longer. Okay, and again with Venus and Capricorn, that can deal with career goals and stuff as well. Venus also rules Taurus in terms of, money, how we make our money and those kinds of things. An aspect of change and expression and really taking action to move forward into new ways and new directions. It's going to heal ourselves in that way as well. And that can also relate to that quarter moon in terms of the workers and day-to-day lives and that kind of stuff. How we need to change and really move forward into those new spaces as well in that sense too, in terms of things that are going to be better for us and not treat us like shit any longer. All right, we're also going to have this sun here in semi-square to Black Moon Lilith. So yeah, again, there's this expansion in terms of where we've been outcast, in terms of our relationships, other people, where we've been put down upon, all of those things. The sun here wanting to expand in terms of that positivity, expanding the awareness of these things and seeing those new directions and new paths, shaking things up. I feel like with that sextile there to Pluto, again, these new directions, new things opening up, maybe awakening in that sense as well. I still can't fully explain that energy that's coming through, but there's something around those lines. Again, I feel like this is very positive, but there's like a shift happening, but because I feel like this Pluto and Aquarius type stuff now, with Pluto permanently being in Aquarius for the next 20 years, that this energy is really, it's like we're shifting into high gear, we're shifting into overdrive, and we're going now. We're not stopping any longer. All right, okay, that's all I've got for Friday. Let's take a look at Saturday here. And Saturday, surprisingly, nothing major actually peaking. But get ready, because I'm just looking ahead here, and on Monday Mercury does go retrograde. So prepare for that, and of course understand that anything that comes up now in this Mercury shadow period will likely come up again during the retrograde period. All right. I'd like to thank you all for watching. I really appreciate those of you who watch, even if you haven't made it this far and aren't hearing this at all. But I do appreciate each and every one of you that does watch these videos and that supports me in any way, even if it's just a simple like, a little comment, whatever. And if you have made it this far, please leave a purple heart in the comments below to show me that you are a real one. I truly do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great week, everyone. Take care. Bye for now.